Welcome back to the video lecture series on Python specialization. In the last class we have discussed various operators that are supported by Python and how do we use them in different contexts. In today's lecture we will see what are the various control structures that are supported by Python. And the agenda of this lecture is what are the various control structures that are supported by Python, like conditional control structures and the loop control structures, and the usage of break and continue with the loop control structures, and the usage of else with the loop control structures. And we'll close the session with a hands-on. So now let's try to understand what the program control flow is and what is the necessity of having the conditional control structures or the loop control structures in any programming language. So we all know that a program is a sequence of instructions that are written to accomplish a particular task. So usually the flow of execution of a program could be a sequential or conditional or iterative. If we look at the flow of control, if we look at the sequential flow of control, each statement in the program is executed in a sequential order. So if you consider this code snippet, the first statement is executed first, then the second statement and the third statement, so on and so forth till the last statement. That is, in sequential flow of execution, all the statements are executed in the sequential order one by one without any alteration in the flow. So such a control structure is called as sequential control structure, and we do not need any special support of the programming language so to achieve that. And in addition, to accomplish certain tasks, so sequential flow may not be enough. Say for example, so when the condition is true, we might need to execute certain set of statements, and when the condition is false, then we might need to execute another set of statements. So in that case, sequential control structure may not be enough. We need the conditional control structure. So in case of the conditional control structure, so depending on the condition, in case of the conditional control structure, depending on the condition that is given, so either of the given paths would be selected. So here if you look at this, so here A indicates the condition, and if the condition is true, then this set of statements would be executed. So if this statement, if the condition is false, then the other set of statements would be executed. At any point in time, either of these two set of statements will be executed and never both. So that's how, in case of the conditional control structure, either of the paths of the execution would be selected. That's how these are also called as the selection control structures. So in certain tasks, we might need another flow of control. So like when the condition is true, then we might need to repeat the same set of statements for a number of times or till some condition is satisfied. Say for example in this flowchart, so when this condition is true, then so the set of statements would be executed, and the same set of statements would be executed as long as the condition is true. And once the condition becomes false, then this the flow of execution will alter, and the flow of execution will be transferred to some other set of statements. So this kind of flow of execution is called as iterative flow of execution or the loop control structure, as the same set of statements would be executed for a certain number of times depending on the condition. So based on the discussion so far, we understand that the control structures could be sequential, where the statements are executed one after the other till the end without any deviation in the sequence of execution. And then we have the conditional control structure, where depending on the condition that is evaluated, one of the possible paths could be executed or the statements are skipped altogether. And in addition to these, we have another control structure where the same set of statements would be executed for a certain number of times. Such control structures are called as loop or the iterative control structures. So Python supports all these types of control structures, the sequential and the conditional or the selection control structures. So to support the conditional or so Python supports all these control structures. So basically it supports the sequential control structure, it supports the conditional control structures with the help of the if elif, with the help of if else and the if elif else blocks. Then Python also supports the iterative control structures with the help of the while and the for statements. So in this lecture we'll see how do we implement these different types of control structures in detail with the help of Python programming language. So here you can see an example Python code, so which follows the sequential flow of execution. So if you observe the first statement x equal to 2, you are assigning the value 2 to the variable x. Then we are displaying the value of the variable x in the second statement. Then in the third statement we are incrementing x value by 2. Then in the last statement we are printing the incremented value of x. So the order of execution of the statements, if you observe, we are following the statements one after the other in the sequential order. So that is how Python supports sequential structure of, so Python basically supports the sequential flow of execution, and we do not need any special programming constructs to implement the sequential flow of execution. Now let's see how can we achieve the conditional control structures, how can we implement the conditional flow of execution in Python. And Python facilitates conditional flow of execution with the help of these keywords, the if else, then if, elif and the else keywords. So now let's go through the statements in detail. So implementing the conditional control structure with the help of the if keyword. So the general form of this, now let's see how if can be used to implement the conditional flow of execution. So basically based on the condition, if you want to skip a set of statements, then we can use the simple if statement. The general form of the using a simple if condition is the if keyword followed by the condition or the expression. The general form of implementing the simple if condition is if followed by the expression, then a colon. Then we need to embed the set of statements that are to be executed when the condition is the expression is evaluated to true. So these set of statements will be executed only when the expression is evaluated to true. So that is how, so you can implement the conditional flow of execution in case of Python. So if you remember, now let's see how we can use the if keyword to implement the conditional flow of execution. So the general form is here, you can observe that if expression followed by a colon and then the set of statements. If you observe in the general form, the statements are included with indentation. So in the earlier videos we discussed that indentation is mandatory in case of Python programming language. So we can represent the indentation with the help of some spacing. So whatever the statements that you want to execute as part of this if condition, then they should be provided with some indentation. And coming to the execution of this if condition, so the expression is evaluated first, and if the expression is evaluated to true, then the set of statements will be executed, and when the expression is evaluated to false, then the set of statements will be skipped and the statements that are placed after this if condition will be executed. So that's how the flow of execution will happen in case of the simple if statement. Now let's see an example. So here marks is the variable which indicates the student marks and branch indicates the student branch, and we are writing the simple code snippet to illustrate the if condition. So if marks are less than or equal to 40, then the student fail. And we are writing another example. So if the branch is CSE, then display the branch of the student is CSE. The student is belonging to basically CSE. So that's how we can make use of the if condition in the programming. So to execute the set of statements based on the condition. So if the condition is satisfied, then only you are executing this set of statements. So that's how if can be used to implement the conditional flow of execution in the program. Say for example, I want to, so the problem with the simple if condition is, so you are providing the set of statements that you want to execute when the condition is true. So maybe in certain situations we might need to execute some other set of statements when the condition is false. So that cannot be implemented using the simple if statement. To support that, Python provides another structure, the if else structure. So the usage of the if else structure is, so depending on the condition that is evaluated to true, depending on the condition that is evaluated, either of these set of statements would be executed. If the condition is evaluated to true, then this set of statements would be executed, and if at all if it is evaluated to false, then this set of statements would be executed. At any point in time, if you observe, any of these two set of statements would be executed and never both. So that is how this if else or the conditional flow of execution is also known as the selection control structure, because you are selecting one of these paths of execution, never both. So that's how Python supports us to implement the conditional flow of execution. So basically selecting one of the possible paths of execution. So now let's see the general form of using if else. If expression, then the colon, the set of statements that should be are to be executed when the condition is true, else, colon, then the set of statements that are to be executed when the condition is evaluated to false. If the condition is true, then execute this set of statements. When this is false, then execute this set of statements. So that is how we can make use of the if else statement in Python to select one of the possible paths of execution. Now let's have a look at the example. So here marks is a variable which indicates the student marks. So if the student marks are less than or equal to 40, then you are saying that the student is failed. And if at all if the condition is false, that is if the marks are greater than 40, then you are indicating that the student is pass. So that's how we can use if else statements. So as a selection of one of the paths between the two possible paths. But in certain situations, so this two-way selection may not be enough, and we might need a control structure where we need to select one of the multiple possible paths. And how can we achieve that? So that can be implemented with the help of the if, elif and else control structure. So if you observe this picture, if the condition is true, then this set of statements would be executed. When the condition is false, then again this condition is evaluated, and depending on the output of this condition, if it is true again, then this set of statements, and if it is also false, then this set of statements would be executed. And if you observe that, so among these three possible paths, you are selecting one of the possible path. So that is how if, elif, else can be used to select one of the paths among the multiple paths. So if can be used to execute set of statements when the given statement is true. So please try to observe that only one of the possible paths would be executed, never more than one set of the statements. So that's how we basically call it as selection flow of execution, selection control structure. Now, so let's have a look at the general form. If, the expression, the set of statements, elif, set of statements, else, then the set of statements. If the condition is true, then this set of statements would be executed. Elif, that is, again you are providing the condition. So if this condition is also true, then this statement would be executed. So if both these conditions are false, then you are coming to the else block and executing this set of statements. We understand that if can be paired with elif and else statements. Now let's have a look at the example. So now the same old example I am continuing. So if the student marks are less than or equal to 40, then you are saying that the student is pass. So if the student marks are less than or equal to 40, then you are saying that the student is failed. So if the student marks are greater than 40, above 40 and less than or equal to 60, then you are saying that student is in the second class. So if at all if he scored more than 60 marks, then you are saying that he qualified the test with first class. So that's how we can make use of the if, elif and else ladder. So to select one of the possible ways among the multiple paths. So you can even extend this to any number. It need not to be confined to 3 levels. So it can be extended to any number of levels. So that's how we can use if to execute the set of statements when the condition is true, and if at all if the condition is false, then we are altogether skipping that set of statements and proceeding to the rest of the program. And if else can be used to select one of the possible ways between the two given paths, whereas if, elif and else can be used to select one of the multiple paths. Now if you extend it further, maybe when the student scored less than or equal to 40 marks, that indicates that the student is failed. But I would like to know whether the student is failed because of the internal marks or the external marks. So that means I want to embed one more condition inside this if condition itself. So then how do I do that? So that can be done with the help of the nested if. So where you can embed an if-else structure as part of the if structure or elif structure or even in the else structure also. So you can embed an if-else structure as part of the other if-else structure. So basically nesting means placing one inside the other. So that's how we are calling it as nested. As we are placing one if-else structure as part of the other control structure, we are calling it as a nested if structure. So now let's see how this nested if structure can be. One possible way of implementing this nested structure you can see here. So the test condition is true, then you are proceeding towards this direction, and again you are checking this condition. So remember, when the condition is true, then again you are proceeding further and testing another condition. That's what we wanted actually. So then if the condition is true, then we are executing this statements. Then when it is false, then we are proceeding to the other set of statements. If at all if the original condition itself is false, then we are choosing this path. So that is how we can place a if-else structure inside the another if structure, or you can even place this part of your if-else structure. So that's how you can implement the nested if structure, that is embedding of an if-else structure inside the another if-else structure. Now let's see the general form of the nested if structure. If expression, then I am placing the if-else structure as part of the if structure itself. So I am embedding it inside the if structure. So you can have set of statements then followed by an if-else. So I have taken the if-else structure from our previous examples and I have embedded that as part of the if structure. Then else part, as usual, the set of statements. So if the expression is evaluated to true, then again you are executing set of statements, then you are again executing another if-else structure. We know how this if-else structure executes, right? So we are coming, when the condition is false, then we are coming to this else structure and executing this set of statements. So that's how we can place one if-else structure as part of the another if-else structure. Now let's have an example where we can make use of this nested if structure. So if you observe, so here marks is a variable which indicates the end-sum marks of the students of one subject, obviously. Then internal marks is a variable which indicates the internal marks of the students in a subject. Then we are checking the condition, the student marks are less than 40. So that means we know that the student failed. So again I am interested to know whether the student is failed because of the internal marks or the external marks. That's how I am placing another code snippet to understand that. So I am placing another if-else statement as part of this if structure itself, if you observe. So here I am checking the condition whether internal marks are greater than 24 or less than 24. So if it is less than 24, then that indicates that the student performance was poor in internal marks itself. If at all that condition is false, that indicates the student scored more than 24 marks in the internal marks, which indicates that the student failed because of his poor performance in the external marks. Then if the initial condition when the student scored less than 40, then this code would be executed, and you can evaluate that whether the student failed because of his poor performance in the internal marks, internal test or the external test. Of course, if the student performs good in the exams, that is if he scored more than 40 marks, then we can straight away come to the else block and we can display that the student pass. So far we have discussed various conditional control structures. So actually we started our discussion with how can we alter the regular sequential flow of execution, and we have seen that there are two different ways of, maybe again consolidation at the end lo cheppamantara. ఇక్కడ హ్యాండ్స్ ఆన్కి వెళ్ళిపోతున్నాం యాక్చువల్లీ. ఓకే. So we started our discussion. So far we have discussed various conditional control structures. So we started our discussion actually how can we alter the regular sequential flow of execution. So either to the conditional control flow or the loop control flow, and how Python supports the various conditional flow of executions with the help of if else, so if, elif, else, even the nested if, how we can make use of all these different programming constructs to implement the conditional flow of execution. Now to get more idea of how to usage that, we'll proceed on to the hands-on session. So let's have a look at the hands-on session. I hope you enjoyed the hands-on session. So by this you all must have got a clear understanding of how can you make use of various conditional control structures in Python. So far in this video we have seen how do we implement various conditional control structures. Then we have seen the nested if control structure. So in addition we have also seen how do we implement various conditional control structure with the help of hands-on session. In the next lecture we'll see how can we implement the loop control structures. So basically in the previous examples, so we have seen how to alter the sequential flow of execution when we want to process one particular student's marks. Say for example, I have 60 number of students in my class. Then how do I repeat the same set of statements or same process for every student? I want to know, given the marks of all the 60 students, how would I know that all the students are, each student is a pass or fail? Then I need to repeat the same set of statements for each student. In that case, I can use the iterative control structure where I can iterate the same set of statements for certain number of times, or even I can repeat that so till the condition is satisfied. So in the next video we'll have a look at how the loop control structures can be used for various applications. If you have any queries on this lecture, so please feel free to reach us. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed the lecture.